Hello guys, in today's tutorial we're going to be creating a bookstore with C#. It will help you increase your knowledge in method and classes. So firstly we'll just have to we'll do all the whole coding inside our book class. So firstly, let's know what we are planning to do on this. So this will be, I'll just give like a boolean and name it keep running, and initially I'll set it to true. So I will tell you why I did this, something like this. Then I'll use a while loop and tab. Then I'll use a while loop. Then inside of our while loop, we'll have this needs to be correct. Let's keep it neat. So inside our while loop, let's see what we are going to do. Okay, so inside the while loop, I'll just print out a new line tab. So I will not put anything inside this line. It's just like for a space, to give space to our console when we are running the program. So then we'll do this. So what will be inside? What will be the message that will output for the user when he enters our bookstore? So I will be like, welcome to CharlesGPT Bookstore. Okay, let me just put this here. Welcome to CharlesGPT Bookstore. Then I'll add more messages. So all the things we are going to do, we are going to have like 8 selections. That it means that this video will take long. So, but if you really want to learn and practice your knowledge of C#, I just hope you follow along with the video. So the first thing we need is, we'll tell the user, one is to view all the books, then CW tab. Two is to add a book. Okay, then three it would be to remove a book from the bookstore. So let's give more functionality. Four would be to update a book. Okay, then five would be to search books. Okay, then six would be to what else can we do in our bookstore? What else can we do in our okay? Check out or borrow a book. Okay, so 6 is to check out or borrow a book. Then CW tab. Then 7 would be to return a book. So return a book. Then to exit, we will do 8. Our 8 would be to exit. So then we now ask the user to choose an option, CW tab. So for choosing, I like using write, so it would be more cool and specific. So I'll be like, choose from option 1 to 8. Okay, so choose from option 1 to 8. Then we'll save the user's choice. Everything is still inside our while loop, so we'll save the user's choice. You can save it as a string or an int, but I think I'll just save it as an int, so it will be easy for like. Let me just save it as an int, so it will be easy for writing without there will not be any need to write like double quotes or something. So I will use an if and else statement, but this time we're not going to fill in the if and else statements, if and else if statements. What we are going to do is this. Okay, so if user choice is equals 1, then we'll leave it empty for now. So I'll just use else if again, then else if. Okay, so else if user choice is equals to, okay, So let me copy all these things and paste it inside. Okay, so all the functionality is still inside our while loop. Else if okay, so let's check what we have. So if else if user choice is 2, else if user choice is 3, else if user choice is 4, else if user's choice is 5, else if user's choice is 6, and okay, so Control V, then else if user's choice is 7, and enter again, else if user's choice is 8. Okay, later on we'll fill in everything, but this time we're going to make it more like easy to understand and easy to modify. So we're not going to put anything, any functionality inside our else if and if statements yet. We're going to create a class that will control everything. So instead of us wasting like much time in coding everything, if we want to make adjustments, we'll have to change every single line of code. I'll just create a class and store everything, all the methods I'm going to be using for the functionality inside a class. So then let's use else to control in case the user doesn't choose from 1 to 8. So else, let me just print an invalid message for the else. Invalid selection. Invalid selection. Please choose from 1 to 8. Okay. So then that's it. So we'll have to create a bookstore class, a book class or something. Then for this, okay, let me just do the exiting of this thing from the book. Thanks for using CharlesGPT library. Then I will now give something like closing. Let me just put this at the end. Okay, so closing the library. Then I will now set our boolean that we used earlier up here, that is keep running as true. It's our boolean that we used there as true. So if we want to exit, because 8 is to exit, so I just want to set the exiting, and in case the user enters an invalid choice, so I'll just go right there and close the program, like keep running. I'll set it to equals false. Okay, sorry, we need our semicolon here. Then I'll just put console dot read line right here, so it would give like a very great, so it will give like space before exiting the program. It will give like chance. Okay, let's just run it to see what happens. We haven't done any functionality yet. We're going to create a class and a method just to show you guys something. So choose from option 1 to 8. So if I choose anything, we'll have to do something. So for now, we have not yet done any single thing on this. So I'll just choose 8 to exit. Or let me say 10. So you see our else statement in play. Invalid selection, please choose from 1 to 8. You see, then it gives us welcome to CharlesGPT Bookstore. Because of the while loop, it keeps going till I select 8 to exit. Okay, if I choose 100, 200, invalid selection, please choose from 1 to 8. Then that's how we control the loop. And if I choose 8, thanks for using CharlesGPT library, closing, then it closes. So you see our program works a little bit good now. So let me just quickly create a book class. Let me see if I can still create. Add. Yeah, you go to add, then classes. Then in the classes, we'll call the classes. I'll call the classes a book class. Then I'll add it. Add the book class. Okay, so now you say our book class, you can make it internal class or a public class, anything though, but I'll just keep it as this. I'll make it public. I just like to public, it makes it look organized. Okay, so then we'll have to create we'll have to create variables for our class. So I'll have like public string title. So our book we have a title. Our book we have, let me just, no, it won't have a description. It has to have like author of the book, and it will have, why is Caplot giving me description? It will have like a year. Then it will have like, then it will have availability, then book available with this. Okay, so it has the title, our book has the title, author, year, and availability. Then I'll create a constructor for the book class. So creating a constructor, you go like public book, sorry, public book. Then inside our empty constructor, this is an empty constructor in case to store like empty, like no valid book, in case like we don't have a book in the store yet. So let's just save the constructor, like title is equals, okay, we'll give this empty quote. Then same thing as author. Author it's equals, we'll give this as well, and year is equals 0, and available equals false. Okay, so available equals false. Okay, so these are empty constructor, just to save like empty books, or if you want to remove a book or something. Then we'll make a full constructor that we can use and save everything, or our book. So the next constructor, because this is what they're calling, like I've forgotten, overloading constructors. Yeah, overloading constructors. So this book, then inside our book class, we'll now give string. You see the red squiggly line under it. It means that we can't like give two empty classes for two empty constructors for book. So I will just use string to do this. String title. I'm not using the this keyword for this because this is a beginner friendly project. So we'll just initialize it very well and understandable. Then string author and int year. Okay, so it takes three parameters: string author, string title, string, and int year. So we'll now initialize it to this. So our title, that is, you see this title as the user's title. Anything the user gives the title, anything that is our main title is equals to this parameter. So we'll just do title equals title, author equals author, and year equals to year. Then we make available to be true, okay, in our full book constructor. So this is an empty book and this is a full book. So then we now create, what I'm going to be using now is static. I'll be using what they're calling static keywords. Okay, most of the time some of you guys don't understand the meaning of static. So static is that you don't need to create an instance of the class. You just when you create a static key, a static book, or static anything, it means that you can declare it anywhere, like maths functions, methods like math method, math.py, and all those things. They are static keywords. They are static, so they don't need to create instance of the class, like mm, something like book one equals to book one equals new book, and something like that. So if I'm using static, I won't be creating things like that. So let's shove in, and this time around I'll just create like 5 books, so this video will not be too long. But trust me, it must be long because we have like 7 things to do in our book store. So we have public static public static book one is equals new book. Okay, so this public static book one equals new book. So it means that since I'm using a static keyword, you can declare it in any part of the C# program, any part of this our program, because of the static keyword. So you can declare it anywhere without initializing it or giving like an instance of the book class. So since we take in 3 parameters, what we're going to do is then we'll give the title. The title will be the handmaid's tale. Handmaid's tale. Then the next one would be Margaret Atwood. Atwood would be the author. Margaret Atwood would be the author. So since it's taking in three parameters, you see the red squiggly line is still there. You have like 1985. That is the year of the book. So I'll just copy this. Since we are having like those 5 books in our store, I'll just copy this and Control C, then paste it. V. Okay, since we're having like 5 books, so I'll just change some things. So this will be book 2, book 3, book 4, and book 5. Okay, so I'll make 2 books empty so the user can add, so guys see the use of this constructor, and also the user can add like books of his choice. So I'll just make book 4 and book 5 empty. I'll make book 4 and book 5 empty. Okay, so what will I store in book 2? Book 2 would be The Lord of the Rings. The Lord The Lord of the Rings would be in book 5. So who's the author of The Lord of the Rings? I think J.R. Tolkien or something. Yes. Oh shit. Okay, so J.R.R. Tolkien, and it was out in 1954. So this one is then our third book would be The War of the Worlds. Sorry, The War of the Worlds. And our author of our third book would be H.G. Wells. And then okay, then the year it was out, I think 1898. Yeah, let's just 1898. So this is the book, all the books in our store. I just made like 3 books. You can add yours though, like, but I don't want to be using a list because it will make the thing more complex, and maybe you guys might not grab the concepts very well. So I'm using like a static book so it can be declared anyway. No need for like instantiating the book again. So we have like, but using the static book, we limit it to like depending on how many books you want to store. So I'm storing like 5 books. You can do like 10 or 7. But it's good, it's preferable to use list or arrays. But since this is a beginner's project, I'll just use this so it can store only 5 books. So then we'll work on other things. So I'll create a method, just a cool method, not a static method, just a normal method. So then my method will be called void. It won't be returning anything. We will call it show info. Show info would be the name of the method. Okay, so public void show info is not returning anything. So this is so that we can show the info of the books, so we won't be like repeating code or something. So I'll call the function show info. So if the title is not equals empty, if the title is not empty, then show the information, show the things of the title. So what we're going to do now is title. So we'll call the title, this title, author, and this thing, these variables that we gave here. So console, we'll call the title, then we'll call the author. The author would be author. So then we'll call the year as well. The year would be year. Okay. So then there's something we are going to do inside our if statement. We'll now give another if statement for, you can actually give like a ternary operator for this, but since it's a beginner's project, we'll just do this. If available, if the book is available, then we'll print this. We'll print the title of the book. We'll concatenate it with is available. Okay, so if the book is available, then we'll print this. Else we'll print this. So the title of the book, we'll concatenate it with is checked out or is not available, anything you want to do. So this is our show info class, our show info method that we are going to be using. Remember, we're still working inside our book class, book.cs. So this is our show info method. So then what we'll now do now is to create our functions. So if you go back to our program, we have like functions we need to create. So the first one is to view all books. Okay, now we'll create a function used to view the book, so we can call it right here without just adding much code. We'll just call it into our console right here. You guys will see what I mean. So the first option is to view all books. So to do something like that, we'll create another function. So this outside this function. So we'll create a function called. So firstly, how I start my program is to create all the necessary functions we need. So we'll make it static. So static void. It won't be returning anything. We'll call it view books. Okay. So we'll create all the functions we need. Let me just copy this. Control C. So the next function we had was, let me see, we have add a book, remove a book, update, search, borrow, return. Okay. So then the next function, let me just call. Then the next one would be add books. So you see, I'm making it static, so we can just declare it without like initializing it in our program. So the next one would be to remove books. So I'll just create all the functions we need first, then we'll insert the things we need inside. So the next one we have is remove books. Okay, remove books. So let's just say remove books because we can't remove lots of books since we're not using list. So the next one would be I think update book or something. Yeah, update book. Control V. Then we'll name this updates book. I hope you watch to the end. I think this video will take long time. Then the next one would be search for books. Okay, so I'll just do Control V. See, we're using static for everything. Search books. Okay, so the next one would be, I think, borrow a book or something, or check out a book. Then borrow. Just call it borrow book function. Then is there any other function? Then return book. Okay, most of the codes actually do the same thing, so we'll just copy some and just edit the thing, but we'll go step by step everything. Then return book. Okay, so return book. Yeah, so that's it. So these are the things we need: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, these are 7 functions we need to view the book, return the book, add book, remove and update the book. Okay, now we'll start with viewing the book. So viewing the book is the easiest. It's just, then we'll give, viewing the book is pretty much easy. We'll just give a space here, console.writeline inside. We'll be working in every functions. Note, we are making it static, so you still see why we are making it static. Okay, hold on. Then book 1 dot show info. So we'll call the show info class. We'll call the show info. This our show info method we created here. So to view all the books, we'll now say book 1 dot show info book. Let me just do this like this. Let me just copy this. Control C and paste. 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so we have book 2 dot show info, book 3 dot show info, book 4 dot show info, and book 5 dot show info. So this will show all the whole information of all our 5 books. So we are calling out this show info method that we used earlier. So that is the use of the show info method, and we'll still be using it in some other aspects too. So that is the end of the view books. So we are done with the view books. So we'll still access everything in our main program, but let's just fill in every single thing that we need in our functions firstly. Then to add a book, we'll have to ask the user to add a book. We'll ask the user enter the title of the new book. Then we'll ask the user enter the title of the new book. Then string new title is equals console dot read line. Okay, so enter the title of the new book. We'll save it in a variable called new title because we want to add book. So CW tab. Then we'll now be like, we'll ask again, enter the author of the new book. Okay, so we'll save it again in a string and we'll name it new author equals console.read line, then CW tab. Then we'll now ask the user again, enter the year of publication. Okay, so we'll now save. We are still working in the AddBooks method, so we'll now save it in an int. We'll call it new year because you can convert, but I like using parse. I don't know why, but yeah, I like using parse this. So we'll now convert the year to an integer. Then what we'll now do is we'll use an if and else if statement in this. So we'll now be like, if the book one dot title is equals empty. If the book is empty, then we will add, but if it's not empty, we can't add the book. So what we'll now do, let me just give this like this. Then if the book is titled book one dot title is equals empty, if the book is empty, it's only when we can add the book. So if book one dot title is empty, we'll do book one equals new book, and we'll now fill it with the new users inputs that we received. New title, new author, and new year. Okay, so if book one dot title is empty, if it's empty, then we'll fill in the user's input. Then what we'll now do is they just output to the user that it's he or she has added the new book. So we'll now be like new title, we'll concatenate added to slot one. We'll just call it slot one. So if the book is empty, we'll add it to the book using this constructor book one dot. We'll now add the new title we received from the user, the new author, and the new year we received from the user. Then same thing we'll do for other books as well. So let me just copy this. So this video won't take that long. So I'll just copy this and change it to else if book two dot title is equals to empty, then book two equals new book. We'll now add the user's new input and we'll now say it has been added to new title has been added to slot two. So we'll do the same thing here. Let me copy this. Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Okay, so we'll do this for book three dot title. Then we'll save it in book three. And then we'll say it has been added to book three. Then I'll just copy this again. Then we'll do it for book four. Then book four. Then it has been added to. Sorry, it has been added to book four. Okay. Then we'll now do it for the last book. Okay. Ctrl V. We'll do it for book five. And has been added to book five. Okay. Then we'll now use an else statement to, in case that there is no space again, we'll now use an else statement to be like else CW tab. Sorry, the library is full. Okay, sorry, the library is full. So that is for adding new books to the library. So if we want to remove a book from the library, I think it would take more time for this, but we'll just do something like that. So to remove new books, that is it for adding. So you receive the user's input, enter the title of the new book, you receive the user's input, and same thing. You add it to the slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, and slot 4, and keep going. But if our slots are full, we'll give an else statement to say sorry, the library is full, or the bookstore, anything you want to do. So then for removing book, we'll do consider right line and just print something out. Okay, firstly, we have to output to the user that there are 5 slots. Since we're not using list, we're using normal distance. There are 5 slots for books in the library. Okay, sorry guys, a friend of mine just interrupted the video, so let's just continue. So there are 5 slots in the for books in the library. We let the user know that there are 5 slots in the library. Then we'll now ask the user to enter a slot number you want to remove. Okay, there are 5 slots in the library, so enter a slot number you want to remove from 1 to 5. So ask the user. I'll just use write for this. Console.write. Okay, so then we'll save the user's input as slot book equals int dot parse that. Cool. So we'll just save the user's input as slot book. So if we use our if and else statement again, so anytime you see this, you know that because I just like using if and else statements though, and it makes it more understandable. So if slot book is equals 1, then we'll tell the user will be book 1 dot title plus, okay, the title of book 1 will now let the user know removed from the store. Okay, so we'll call the book 1 dot title has been removed from the store. Then we'll now give this, we'll now give book 1 the empty constructor. We'll now give book 1 the empty constructor, sorry. Book 1 equals to new book. So we'll now make book 1 an empty constructor. I'll just add this. So if the user slot is equals 1, then we'll do this. We'll say the book have been removed, and we'll make book 1 an empty slot. Okay, I'll just copy this and paste it here. Then else if statement. Then else if slot equals 2 will be like book 2 dot title removed from the store. Then we'll now make book 2 an empty constructor. Then I'll just copy this. Remember, we're still working on our static remove book function. Then else if slots equals 3 will be like book 3 dot title removed from the store. Then we'll change this to 3. Okay, so we'll do the same thing for 4 and 5 as well. Sorry, right there. Else if slot book equals 4 will be like book 4 dot title removed from the store. Then we'll now save book 4 in an empty constructor. Then we'll do it for 5. The reason we are taking this long step is because we're not using a list. You can just use dot remove or dot add and stuff like that. But since we're not using a list, we just have to take this long step. So it will give you more idea of how to think and stuff like that. So and book 5 dot title have been removed successfully, and we'll give an empty slot for it. Then we'll now say else. We use our else. My use of the else is mostly to control invalid selection. So in case the user did not choose any slot from 1 to 5, we'll say invalid slot. Choose from 1 to 5. Okay, so invalid slot, choose from 1 to 5 in case the user don't choose any of this thing. And that's it for our removing book. Yeah, just remove a book. That's it. So we'll now go to update. So this video won't take long. I'm trying to make it just a 1-hour video, and I hope it works out. So update. So to update, I'll just give CW. This empty string is so that it can like space out the informations in the console. So we're giving out the empty string. So CW we'll now tell the user again that there are 5, what's the message? There are 5 slots for books in the library. Okay, so now for the update book function, will be like there are 5 slots for book in the library. Okay, then We now ask the user CW tab, enter the slot number you want to update from 1 to 5. Okay, and note you can add any amount of books though, like enter the slot number you want to update from 1 to 5. I'll just use right here because we are receiving users inputs. Okay, so we now name it in slot book. And note, we can't, this slot book is a new variable because this, like, I don't know, I'm going to explain it, is it's just like you can't access another thing from another method. I've forgotten how they are how what it's called, but don't worry. If I remember it, I'll let you guys know. You can't access, yeah, global variable, local. Yeah, it's a local variable. So slot book, you can't access it inside this other method since it's called in this method. So that is it. So we can still rename it slot book again. So this one is for the update book function. So enter the slot number you want to update. Then we'll now call this book. Will be like book. We'll call the book class and then we'll just name this one current book because we want to update the book because new book. Okay. So then this current book now is an instance of this book class. So we want to update the book. So you see why the use of the current book now. So the current book is like in an empty constructor. So what we're going to do now is if the slot book is equals to 1 for the update. Remember, we are done with the remove. So if the slot book is equals to 1, we'll do current book. We'll call the current book equals book 1. So we'll update it. Okay. So the same thing we'll do for others. So I'll just copy this, Control V, and just go right here. Else, if book slot is equals to, then current book is equals book 2. So I'll just copy this, Control C, Control V. Book slot equals 3, then current book is equals 3. So this is a new book class. So to update it, what we're going to be doing is slot by slot. If the user slot is 1, we'll update the book 1 to current book to be like a current book, the current book. So we'll update it. Okay. So then we'll do the same for 4 and 5. Then else if book slot book equals 4, then current book equals 4. Then we'll do for 5. Slot book equals 5 and current book equals 5. Okay, so then let's use our last else statement because I like adding else to control invalid selection. We'll print invalid selection, invalid slots, I mean to say invalid slots, choose from 1 to 5. Okay, because there are 5 slots in our book. So what we're now going to do is then I need to just add one last if statement here. So this if statement is just your choice though, but I just like making my program to be cool and able to handle many errors. So current book, if current book dot title, if the current book is equals empty. So if the book is empty, let's say like book 4 and 5 is empty, then we'll print something like, because you can't update an empty book slot. So what we're going to do is, since if current book dot title is equals to empty, then we'll be like empty slots, nothing to update. Okay, so we'll print this. If the current book is empty, then we'll return the return keyword. Okay, so we'll then return. Then the next thing would be so now let's enter the information the user need enter the information for the updating current book. So what we'll do now is we'll tell the user enter the new title. I like using right though. Sorry. I like using right. So enter the new title or give space right there. And if the user enter the new title, then we'll now do current book dot title. Title equals console dot read line. Okay, so the new title, we'll just save it inside the current book dot title. For that one new class we created that is called current book. That's what it's used for. So we'll now save it inside the constructor current book dot title. Then we'll do the same thing for CW tab. I will change this to right and be like enter the new author. The new author. Then will now be current book dot author. I'll just change this to author. Author. Okay, so current book dot author equals to console dot read line. Then this we are reading the information the user enters for it. Then will now be like enter the new product. The new publication year. Enter the new publication year. So will now be we'll call this current book dot year equals int dot parse dot. Okay, so we'll now save the year inside the new current book dot year. Then we'll now output to the user CW tab. We'll now tell the user that the book has been updated. So the user will be aware. So book updated. Let me just put this dot dollar dot. Yeah, cool. So book updated after this. So this is the for the updating book this time. So we now have three more. I just hope this doesn't waste time because the video is taking long to get done. So then search books. So to search for books, what we're going to do is we have to know the book that the user wants. Okay, so search for book would be we'll ask the user enter the book you want to search either by title or author. Enter the book you want to search either by title or author. So I'll just make this console dot write. Okay. Then right here I'll now just enter. Then I'll now save it in a string. String search equals console dot read line. Why is it not giving me something? Okay, so the string search equals to console dot read line. Then we'll now give like a boolean of search. We'll just name the bool found, and it will be found, and it will be initially set as false. You still see the use for this found. So as you have saved the user's input in a search variable, enter the book you want to search either by title or author. Since we have saved it in a search variable, then I declare the variable named search named found. So it's initially set to false in case we find the book. Okay, that's what will happen now. So I will now give an if and else statement. So if book one dot title is not what's wrong is equals empty is not empty. If book one dot title is not empty and this logical operator, so and okay, so let's just change this thing to dot to lower so it can be able to catch the user's input even if he like searches the book with lowercase or something. Then if book one dot title book one dot title dot to lower dot contains search if book1.title.lower contains the search, the user search, this search right here, is highlighting it, or since we want to make users to be able to search by book or by author or something, then or we now use the or operator here. This logical operator goes like no, not like this. I think where's the operator? Yeah, it goes like this. Or let me just copy this. I'll just copy this. Control C. Or yeah. So let me just put this right here. Or book one dot author dot to lower dot contain search, then will now be like, then if then we show the info of the book. So book one dot show info. Okay, then we now set that found to be equals true. So it's very self-explanatory, but it's a long line of code. So if the book is not empty and the book dot to lower contains the user search, this search, or the book dot to author contains the user search, then we print out the information of the book one. So we'll do the same thing in other books as well. Control C. So I'll just copy this and paste here. Else if, then we'll change everything to two. To book 2.title contains search. We use this contains keyword to check, since we're not using list or something. So we're going to use the contains keyword. Okay, so you see how I made it logical. I made it very logical. So if then we'll set the found to true if we have found the book. So you remember we are still working under the SearchBooks method. So then this would be 3, then 3, then we'll show the info for book 3, and the found will be true as well. Then I'll just paste for 4 and 5. Okay, so I'll just change this to 4 and 4 and 4. Then the show info would be 4. Then this would be 5, 5 and 5. So you can see how it goes. Then book 5 dot show info. Okay, so that's how we are going to get and search and show the information of the book. Then we'll now use another thing. Then our last else, or let's just call it else, no book found, CW tab. You can do else if found equals false, like this found equals false, else if found equals false, then no book found. But since we are just let's not waste much time, we'll just print else no book found, okay, with that search, with that search. Okay, so you can just do else if found equals false, then no books found with that search. Okay, but we'll just use normal else statement to close it up. So the next one now is to borrow a book. I hope this borrow book doesn't take time. Don't want to check out to borrow. The borrow a book would be like, let me see if there's anyone that is still the same thing. That's there. I think the borrow a book will be like the updating book, or they just work on the BorrowBook, so we don't waste much time on this. So it remains 2 methods to fill in. I hope you watched till this part of the video though. So CW tab, then I'll be like, there are 5 slots for books in the library. Then we'll now ask the user to the this is for empty space, so the user like, so the our program will look neat when we run it. Okay, so then I'll now say enter the slot number you want to borrow from 1 to 5. Okay, so I'll give space here. So since I like using right, I'll just use the dates for right. Okay, then we'll now save it in an integer called SlotBook. Since it's a local variable, it won't know about other ones we have named SlotBooks as well. So we'll save it in an integer named SlotBook. Okay, then we'll now save the user's input. Enter the slot number I want to borrow 1 to 5. So we'll save the user's input. So we'll now create the same current book class as we did in the update book. We'll name it book, current book equals to new book. Okay, we'll give it like current book. Oh, I didn't spell this correctly. Current book equals to new book. Empty constructor. Then will now be like if the slot if the slot book is equals 1, then we would print current book equals book 1. Okay, then the same thing. Don't worry, you will see, you understand where we are going. Okay, so if enter the book you want to borrow. So if the slot number is 1, then we'll now change the current book to be book 1. Then we'll do for the other one. Let me just copy this for the else if control C, control V. Then we'll now give like else if slot book equals 2, then will be current book equals 2 equals book 2. So let me just copy this and do for control V. Then else if this 3, then this would be 3 and this would be 3 as well. Then I'll do another one here. Else if slot book equals 4, then our current book would be 4. Then this for borrowing, not updates. It still gives the same way we are doing for the update as well. Then if slot book equals 5, then current book equals book 5. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is I'll just quickly do my else statement here. Else CW tab will tell the user, in case the user don't enter anything from the slot, selection choose from 1 to 5. Okay, so then that's it. Then the next thing is for borrowing the book. Then if we use the availability for borrowing the book, so if the current book we just named, this new current book we did, we're using the book class method, the book class. So we'll have if current book dots available, if the book is available, then we'll now print CW and print book borrowed successfully. If the book is available, then book borrowed successfully. Then we'll now set current book dots available is equals false. Okay, then if the user borrows the book, it's then set to false. Then we'll now use our else statement. Else if the book is not available, then we'll now print this thing and say book is currently not available. Book is currently not available. Okay, so that's it for our borrowing our book. Then the last one is to return a book. I think it will still use the same thing, so I'll just copy from the borrowing the book function, so we won't waste much time on it. So I'll copy everything from borrowing the book method. Some people call it function though, so let me just copy. Okay, stop right there and control C, then put it into our return a book, because it's still the same thing if you think of it properly. Then let's just make some editings. I hope I get all the whole things we need to edit. Okay, there are 5 slots for books in the library. Enter the slots. This is meant to be I made mistake in the spelling. But the spelling doesn't matter though, but I don't want to make any error. Enter the slot you want to borrow. Okay, this would now be, so this is inside our return book. Enter the slot number you want to return. So we'll change this borrow to return. Then we'll still save it the slot book because it's a local scope, so it can't know what is happening in other methods and stuff like that. So we'll still do the same thing: current book, current book, current book, and then this available. We're not going to use the available yet, though. Okay. So if book available, we'll change this to false because we're returning. If book dot available is false, then we now print book has been returned. You see how we run this? So the borrow book, we just leave it as true. If the current book dot available is true, then you can borrow the book. But this one we are going to do if current book dot available equals false, then book has been returned. Then let us put the book here so it's more specific. The book has been returned. Then the next one we're going to do is else. Then we'll now say book. We'll now print this book was not borrowed. Book was not borrowed. Okay, we'll just change this to true. Available will be true because you have returned the book. So initially, if the book is false, then you return the book, then we'll set it to true. But for borrowing, if it's true, you can use this, like you can still do like equals true or something, but this one is more logical. Then if the book is available, the current book that we named declared here, if it's available, then we'll borrow the book successfully and set the availability to false, and same thing like that, same thing as in this one as well. So okay, that is it for all our constructors. So like this now, yeah, one step of becoming a full-time programmer. You have, so the next thing, since we have created this class, any adjustments we want to do, we go into the class. So if we go to our program now, no need to write much code in our program that will run the program. All we need to do is this. Watch this. Since now you see the use of the static method we are using, so I will just do book dots. So we'll check the one we want to do. Book dots, sorry, book dots, add books. Okay, book dots, no, not add, I think view or something. Yeah, book dots view books. Okay, so you have done the thing. No need to start writing any long code again. Just call out the function. Then the next one, else if user's choice equals to 2. Remember, we are working in our program now, our main program of our book. So we'll call out the book.viewBooks. So no need to instantiate it because we are using static throughout our program, book dots. So user's choice is 2 would be to add book. So we'll just call the AddBooks. This just easy as that. The user's choice, if user's choice is equals to 3, then we'll do book dots remove book. 3 is what? I think 3 is remove a book. Okay, so book dots remove book. Okay, then book 4 would be, then if the user's choice is 4, we'll call the book dots update book. Then if user's choice is 5, we'll do book dots search books. Okay, then if user's choice is equals 6, will be like book dot borrow the book. Okay, then if user's choice is 7, all we just need to do now is just to be calling the functions book dot return. I think 7 is return. Okay, so that's just it for our main program. We have created the book class and we took in many functions, title, book, functions, as many as possible. We have the show info method, or you can call it functions though, the view books, add books, remove books, and etc. Then inside our main program, all we just need to do is to call out the functions, then keep running. We kept it inside a while loop. Then if user's choice is 1, view the book, add book, remove book,
update book, search books, borrow book, return book, and exit from the loop. And we we help organize our invalid selections and stuff like that. So you see our program looks neat and just short and understandable. So if you want to know anything about viewing the books or how we wrote our code, you will know if you won't be able to like know how we wrote this because it's inside our book class. So you just say book.viewbooks, you can do understand. So let's just run the program. This is a 1 hour video. So quickly run the program and make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe, guys. See, put much energy on this video, and I took a lot of time making this video for you guys. Then what's we'll test out everything one after the other. So one, view all the books, enter, you see. So see the books. Title this, title. For the first book, Handmaid's Tale, the second book, the third book, and the fourth book. See it. So now go again. Welcome to CharlesGPT Bookstore. What will you do? Let's say to add a book. Enter the title of the new book. Let me say I don't know any other book I'm going to add. I'll just I'll name it Honesty. Name of the title. Enter the author of the new book. I'll just say Charles. Enter the year of publication of the new book. I'll say 2025. You see, honesty added to slot 4. Okay, you see, slot 4 is the only empty slot, so it added it to slot 4. So if you go back to our code, how we wrote it, you see that we saved every single thing on this. So if we view books again, let's view books. You see, honesty is now part of our books. It's now added to slot 4. So you see how we are creating this program without using lists or something like that. Just normal if and else statements and just while loop and normal classes and methods. So the next one is removing book. Enter the slot you want to remove. Let me say I want to remove the book I just entered. So it will be 4. Slot 4. Enter. Honest removed from the store. So the book name of my book is Honesty, so it has been removed. So let's say update a book. Let me add a book first, then we'll update it. So I'll add Honesty again, and I'm the author. Then my year will be 2025. Okay, so now let's work with update a book. So for update a book would be okay. There are 5 slots for the book in the library. Enter the slot number I want to update. Okay, the slot number of my book is 4. So enter the new title. I'll no more. It won't be named Honesty again. I'll name it like subscribe would be the name of the book. Subscribers. The author would be Charles, and publication year would be 2025. So book updated. So if we view our book now, we'll see our title have changed to subscribers, author year, subscribers is available, Charles 2025. So we can now search for a book 5. 5 is the search for a book. So I'll press 5. Enter the book you want to search either by title or author. So the title of the book is I think let me say subscribers. So you see it brings out the detail of the book. So let me search the book again. I can search the book like by a title, Charles. It still brings out the info of the book. You see that. Okay, so you can borrow a book as well. 6. There enter the slot number I want to borrow. Okay, let me say let me borrow my subscribers book 4. Book borrowed successfully. So now let's view all the books. If you see now it prints out subscribers is checked out. Author Charles is checked out because I just borrowed it. So the last one we are going to check now is to return. So let me return back my subscribers book. So enter the slot number I want to return. I will say 4. 4 is for my subscribers book. Then I will now print the book has been returned. So now let's view all the book in our bookstore. 1, I'll just name it 1. Yeah. You see, then it's now available. And then if I just that is all the functions we are going to do. So if I just print 100 or 1000, you see it's invalid selection. Please choose from 1 to 8. That's how we control our console. So if let's say I'm done with everything I want to do in our bookstore, I can just click it and exit. Thanks for using CharlesGPT library, closing, and it closes the console. That's it for the program we have today. I would like you guys to follow step by step. It will give you more understanding of how methods classes and function methods and classes work very well. So I have more upgrades. I'm trying to upgrade myself, and I hope you like, share, and comment on this video. uh Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I have more new updates on C Sharp and many other programming languages coming up next. So love you guys.